Okay, so after a short break, we're back with Andrew Mount. This is, I think it's system study number 9, Andrew. How's it been going? You've been banging in the winners, I see.
Yeah, had a good week, and although my position in the racing post naps table would suggest quite the opposite, so firmly in the relegation zone. Though on Tuesday I was 2 out of 2 in my column on GG, and I thought, oh, which one am I going to choose for the nap in the racing post nap table? I'll go for the 14 to 1 shot because I need a big price winner. That's won 15 to 8. So
That's you did that. You ruined their market.
well,
Surprised they didn't pull it out.
to be honest, the 14 to 1's only there with one firm. It's generally sort of double figures. Then it's generally 7 to 1 plus, and then it's just like absolutely collapsed. But we're going to talk about the reason why I found that one and how there should be some more on that angle coming up in this video. Yeah, it's been a few weeks since we've done one. Life's been a bit hectic, as I'm sure it has for you with kids on school holidays and stuff like that.
Yeah, and yeah, but it just gets hectic, doesn't it? Hectic coming up, plenty of racing. The end of the summer, the end of the summer festival season with Glorious Goodwood and York and the Star Sports Brighton Festival, and
So
yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
I've suddenly realised, sort of last night that bloody hell, it's Goodwood on Tuesday, and I tend to work for the big meetings 5 days ahead, and try and get everything, stuff done for the Tuesday on the Thursday before, certainly to start. And then I'm thinking I'm already behind, and it hasn't started yet.
well, at least the 7 furlong and a mile races are nice and easy. Though you got to be careful about the stakes races, haven't you?
Yeah, we talk about the draw bias. I'm guessing
Yeah,
the old, yeah. Sort
it's
of,
actually a physical draw bias, isn't it? It's not. It's not like one of these where people assume that the ground is better one side or the other. This is like if it's the Olympics, there would be a staggered start, wouldn't there?
yeah,
Especially seven
that's right.
furlongs.
Yeah, so traditionally low draws in those big field 7 furlong mile handicaps. Although you get the occasional soft ground meeting where they all come across to the near side rail and it pays to be drawn high. And you also get the occasionally odd one where all the pace horses are drawn high, all the hold up horses are drawn low, and the high draws can get across. But yeah, maybe that's something. I'll tell you what, maybe we'll discuss that one next week. And
After they've all won. Oh no,
well,
before Goodwood, maybe we can do it.
yeah, the bias tends to be greater on the Saturday when the fourth rail comes down and there's a fresh strip of ground, the inside rail, and that the Golden Mile handicap on the Saturday tends to be the big draw race.
You've
But,
got to you've got to warn everybody though. Anyone that's like you that goes back through the years with the pro form looking for the draw, they changed it, didn't they?
yeah,
Because it
that's
used
right.
to be high numbers advantage, and then now it's low numbers.
That's right. They reversed the draw in 2011. So take 5 furlongs, basically right-handed tracks. Stall one used to be on the outer. If there were 10 runners, over 5 furlongs at Sandown, stall 10 was against that far side rail, not stall one. Although I think most software programs like Proform, like Raceform Update, they basically sort of reversed the draw and changed it all around, so you could search back beyond 2011
All right,
and still have your figures. I don't think they did it first. I remember Raceform Interactive not doing that, and yeah, I do remember some people getting caught out and talking about a bias one way or the other and saying, "No, don't you realise what they did in 2011?" So,
right then, so we better so I've had a look through what you sent me this week. Once again, you've gone over and above very in depth. Now we're talking about class. Where class is a very important thing in racing, but we're not talking about whether you're going to be allowed in the members enclosure or not. I'll leave it to you.
yeah, I was still smarting from being refused entry to Sandown in a pair of smart tailored shorts and a short sleeve shirt many years ago, where when it was a balmy summer's day, 30 degrees plus, and thinking, what, I wasn't wearing trainers or anything, but
Disgrace,
there you go. Yeah, yeah, we're back with Nick Morden's book, Betting for a Living from 1992. He discusses class barriers in that. It says class barriers are most often encountered by horses who won their last race. A large percentage of such horses will be stepped up in class, and 90% of them will lose. So he then provides some figures. What is interesting, though, he doesn't provide figures from a whole season or 2 seasons. He picks a very narrow band from the 1990 flat race season, June and July only. And he's talking about handicap winners when they're stepped up in class next time out or down in class. He provides some figures, and basically he comes to the conclusion that you're up in class, it's no good. You're in the same class, it's no good, or not as, or sort of slightly better, you make a small profit. big loss up in class. Down in class, you actually make a profit as well. So I couldn't go back to the year he looked at, 1990, because my pro form goes back to 1997. But I did look at the same period, handicap winners, June and July in 2024 to see what would have happened. Now, like Morden, I'd have expected those up in class to make a loss. They did. It wasn't massive, between 5 and 6% on turnover. Same class, big loss, 12.8%. Down in class, I expected them to perhaps make a profit, albeit at short prices. In the sample period he talks about, they did make a tiny loss, £1.97, 4.2%. But extending that, as Morden did in his article, to give a bigger sample size, taking it to the end of September 2024, you'd have actually made a profit back in last time out winners who dropped in class. A lot of these were, sort of winning a class 5 handicap, drop into class 6, perhaps before they've been reassessed, running under a penalty, that type of thing. But I did look at a longer period, went back to 2021, looking at all last time out flat handicap winners, turf and all weather, who were running in another flat handicap in Britain to find out what would have happened. And basically, you lose, you lose money across all metrics, so, up in class, down in class, and same class. So it's just generally something I've been banging on about for a while, which is just look to avoid last time out winners, because the market usually overreacts to them. You're going to get some incidents where the last time out winner is won against a bias. He's won from the front into a headwind. He's won from a bad draw. He's won in an incredibly fast time by a wide margin, and he might be capable of going in again. But particularly when it comes to handicaps, you think we talk about the flat here as well. So my general view is that any horse who wins a flat handicap was probably flattered by the pace, by the draw, by the way the race unfolded. But circumstances were in their favour, and the chances are they're not going to be next time out. But instead of getting 8-1, you're going to be getting something like 7-2. So,
is that any horse that wins a handicap, Andrew?
Yeah, I'm just talking on the flat. I mean, if you take that as a starting point when you're looking at a race, because you talk about, how do you study a race? How do you sit down and just start? And when the first firms price up, one of tomorrow's races, and you'll see that all they do, whether it's their algorithm, whether it's just a trader with not much time on their hands to look at the race in detail, you'll see that the two horses that won last time out are 7-2 joints. The two horses have finished second are 4-1 and 9-2, and you can just almost predict, see how they've got those odds based on just one simple metric, which is last time out form. So if you can then look at find one that was flattered because of that win, it came with exceptional circumstances that were in their favour and might not be next time, then that's something to sort of look at. And one thing I mentioned in the article as well is a very strange meeting at Ffos Las on the 29th of June last month, which was the first race was started with stalls, but because of the very I'm not sure the reason exactly. Usually it's because they get stuck in the mud and they can't pull because it's very soft going. They can't physically pull the stalls by tractor to the next starting stall position. So race 2 onwards of that meeting was started by flag, which for the uninitiated means that rather than going to the stall, someone stands there like a jumps race with a flag and waves the flag. Now that takes draw bias completely out the window, because they're meant to still line up in draw order, but they rarely do, unless the non-triers favourably drawn in stall 1 might suddenly find themselves on the outside or at the back of the field.
Non-triers, Andrew?
Oh, sorry. Wash my mouth out. But of course, flat horses are not used to starting by flag, except over a mile 6 at Salisbury, or that 2.5 mile race. Sorry, is it the 2.5 mile race at Glorious Goodwood as well? So particularly sprinters. I mean, I've seen a flag start in my time over 5 furlongs at Southern on the fibre sand, a massive front runners track anyway. And of course, the horse that was in front after 50 yards stayed there. So what happened at this Ffos Las meeting was that there was a flag start. It massively favoured front runners. There was one horse who won from off the pace. That was over 1.5 miles, a distance that often favours hold-up tactics. Every other race was won by a horse who was in the sort of first 2 or 3 throughout. So my thinking then is that those winners would have been flattered. I want to take them on next time out, because half the field was just like facing sideways, missing the break by about 10 lengths. And what's happened so far is that some of those horses who have ridden patiently have then run really big races next time out. That one I put up as a bet at Wolverhampton on Tuesday on gg.co.uk. Popeye Doyle had finished, well down the field after being given a patient ride at Ffos Las. Gets priced up based on that last time out run. And then, what was it, 14 to 1 with Bet365 the night before. I know most of you can't get on at those sort of prices. Got off 15 to 8 favourite, won by 3 lengths. I mean, even 20 minutes before the off, it's over 3 to 1 on Betfair. I think it was 4.1. And then it's been smashed up late. So there was also one trained by Grace Harris, who's strings in good form at the moment. An 80 to 1 shot at Ffos Las, finished right out well down the field. Came out and won last Saturday at Newbury, 33 to 1. Everyone's scratching their heads like how the devil's that one. And you think, well, yeah, I'm not saying it was like a 5-star nap, but it had a better chance than its last time out finishing position suggested, because it just didn't have a prayer at Ffos Las. So I would go through that meeting, and then every time something runs from it next time, downgrade those ones who run well from the front, upgrade those ones who've been ridden patiently, particularly if they managed to run pretty well. So I'll give you the figures for it so far. And just sort of tell you what happened to me. Yeah, so far, the 16 runners have come out of that meeting. 3 have won. And this is before racing at Doncaster yesterday. So it's now 3 from 18. I put up another one with the same angle, which was Panama Black, which was a 6 to 1 shot yesterday morning. That's gone off, short as well, of sort of less than half those odds. Actually ran a stinker because having been ridden patiently last time, I was expecting the same thing at Doncaster, which favours such tactics when there's a bit of pace on. But he's tried to cut out the early running and got involved in a 4-way ding dong for the early lead, and they've set it up for the close.
Jockeys.
Yeah, exactly. They don't do what you want them to do. So I mean, what are we today? We're recording this on Thursday, 24th of July. There's one running at Doncaster at 2:35 this afternoon, Autumn Festival, who was sort of up with the pace at that meeting. I'll see what price he is now. Let's have a look. He's in an 11-runner handicap today. He finished. He finished 6th at Donny. So I thought that flattered him. Already he's out from 13 to 2 to 9 to 1. So I would think that he's on a track that's not ideal for front runners, generally speaking. Today, he was flattered by finishing 6th last time out. He probably would have finished like out the back of the telly had he not managed to start on terms, whereas half the field didn't. So I think he's a potential place lay for me today. Just that's the kind of thing to look for. Look for a horse who was flattered when running well last time out, or a horse who had excuses for running poorly, and that will help you beat the market.
Okay, so if you're enjoying this and other videos that I've got on the channel, please like and subscribe. It does help to get more followers, and it gets the old algorithm flying. Andrew's tips are free every day on gg.co.uk. Any other outlets, Andrew? Shameless self-promotion time.
Yeah, I mean, what am I doing? The tote. If you've got a tote account, tote.co.uk. I do something called Stay a Shout every Saturday, and Place Pot Pointers, which is written articles about the big races on Saturday, as well as videos, and that's all free. You just have to opt in, and they'll send you that by email every Friday afternoon. Just going back to that Ffos Las meeting at Chepstow tomorrow. That's Friday the 25th of July, the 7:35 race. There's a horse called Lebeyev. I can never say it. Who is ridden by Elizabeth Gale, an apprentice jockey who's profitable to back blind. Now, last time out at Ffos Las, at that meeting with no starting stalls, she was a 12 to 1 shot. And the winner of that race was an odds-on favourite who was described as prominent, led 2 furlongs out. The third horse was a 12 to 1 shot, raced in second, press leader. and the horse in second was Lebeyev, who came from off the pace. Flag start, hampered start, in rear, headway 2 out, went second, kept on. Now, that was an excellent effort in the circumstances. Running over the straight mile at Chepstow, looks well drawn in stall 10, assuming there's a standside bias, and might be a reasonable price. And you could probably say it was unlucky not to win last time out. So you're almost saying this is a winner without a penalty, ridden by a good apprentice jockey. So yeah, look out for Lebeyev, 7:35 Friday at Chepstow.
Brilliant. Just two things. If you're watching this on YouTube and you want to see Andrew's workings, they'll be on my website, which should be up there. And also, Andrew, I don't know if I told you, I had a message from somebody who forwarded on a message. I've tried to get Nick Morden to do a betting people for the Star Sports Series. Oh, yes. And I was very, very chuffed to read that Nick Morden actually watches some of these videos.
Really?
Yeah. So, Nick, if you're watching, we'd love to get you on. Andrew's your biggest fan. Well, you got loads of fans. I mean, and nearly everybody else is influenced by that book, aren't they?
Talked before about people of my generation who sort of ended up working in sort of horse racing, tipping, and journalism, and like Andy Holding in particular. He was inspired to do his own speed figures, and has made a good living as a professional gambler and journalist and broadcaster. By picking up a book in 1992 and reading it cover to cover twice probably, and then thinking I could do that, and off they went. So it's interesting when all this talk about trying to get young people into racing and how we go about it. The way a lot of us got into it, which was not through going racing or having family members who were into it. It was through gambling, through maybe sort of being introduced to it by a friend, or just sort of thinking, how can I get good at that? How can I learn more about it? And picking up a book.
Yeah, Nick Morden, legend. If you're watching, Nick, the offer is open. We'd love to talk to you. Anyway, okay, Andrew, I'll let you get on with sorting out Glorious Goodwood. Maybe we'll try and get one out before the meeting starts. You reckon we'll have time to do that next Monday? Maybe?
Yeah, I reckon so. We'll sort something out on Monday, and we'll just discuss some general angles about the track.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. So until then, I'm going to get this up, and a couple of tips there for Andrew for watching this. If you're watching this today, and we'll hopefully speak on Monday, Andrew, for number 10.
Right. Cheers, Simon. Take care.
Thanks, mate. You too.
Hello everyone, just a quick one. If you have enjoyed these videos and are enjoying these videos, can you please like and subscribe to my channel? Thanks very much.